The room goes still. It's not a malfunction, it's a moment of profound, involuntary deference. Their mouths were working, a tireless machine of polite chatter, and then the gears just seize up. You don't need to announce your presence with a trumpet fanfare or a shout. Your arrival is a seismic event, a sudden tremor that shakes their little world and forces a pause. A moment ago, they were weaving a delicate tapestry of social lies and half-truths, a safe, familiar pattern of conversation designed to fill space and avoid vulnerability. But you are a tear in that fabric. Your very being is a disruptive force, a chaotic element that their pretense-based reality cannot absorb without consequence. That silence is not a judgment on your character. It is a profound tribute to your gravity, an acknowledgement of a power they cannot name, but can certainly feel. Most people exist in a state of perpetual performance, playing a role they believe society requires of them. Their conversations are merely lines in a play they've all agreed to participate in, a predictable, comforting script. But you've torn up your script. You've decided to improvise, and in doing so, you've exposed the charade for what it is. Their silent awe is the direct result of their own cognitive dissonance. They were so comfortable with the illusion, with the carefully constructed masks of normalcy, that your unfiltered truth acts like a bright light in a dark room, revealing all the dusty corners and flimsy sets. That hushed atmosphere is the sound of 1,000 mental curtains closing at once, a collective effort to hide their own compromises and the small, safe lives they've chosen to live. You are the inconvenient mirror they desperately want to look away from. Your presence is not built on a foundation of manufactured charm or forced smiles. It's forged in the quiet fire of battles fought and won in solitude. It's the visible weight of a life lived without apology, a soul that has been tested and refined by hardship. The air around you feels dense, because it is heavy with the untold stories of your endurance, a magnetic field of pure, undiluted conviction. They don't fall silent because they dislike you. They fall silent because they are unconsciously overwhelmed by the sheer force of your being. You are the embodiment of an authentic existence, a living monument to the courage they never found to face their own inner demons. You are a living example that what doesn't kill you doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you dangerous. The silence that greets you is the echo of their own suppressed desires. It is a moment of profound psychological projection, where they look at you and see the ghost of the person they could have been if they had not been so afraid. They see the dreams they let die, the risks they refused to take, the lives they were too timid to lead. You are the living proof that a person can reject the script and still not only survive, but thrive. Your unapologetic existence acts as a haunting reminder of their own unlived potential. It's an internal monologue that suddenly becomes external, and they fall silent because the voice in their head is screaming with regret. They can't find a line to say because the person who should be speaking is the one they've been ignoring for so long. You see, society is a delicate ecosystem of unspoken rules and fragile egos. Everyone is trying to prove they belong, constantly seeking external validation to prop up a brittle sense of self. But you don't need their approval. You have built your own scaffolding of self, worth from the inside out, and it's a foundation that cannot be shaken by the quiet disapproval of a crowd. This self-sufficiency is the source of their discomfort. You are an anomaly, an equation they cannot solve with their usual social formulas. They can't categorize you. They can't dismiss you with a single label, and they can't get a read on you. This lack of predictability is unsettling to them, and in their confusion, they simply default to a state of nothingness, to a blank slate of silence. This power you wield is not for everyone. It's a raw, untamed force, and like all powerful things, it will attract and repel with equal ferocity. Some will be drawn to it like moths to a flame, intrigued by a spirit that refuses to be tamed. Others will retreat in fear, unable to bear the weight of your presence. This is not a flaw in your being, it's the natural consequence of your authenticity. You were never meant to be a product for mass consumption. You are a rare vintage and acquired taste, and you should never apologize for being exactly who you are. The friends you find will not be those who are comfortable with you, but those who are brave enough to be uncomfortable with themselves and still choose to stand by your side. These are the true alliances. Embrace the quiet. Do not feel the need to fill the void with polite chatter or nervous laughter. Think of it as a personal stage, an invisible space cleared just for you. You don't have to impress them. You're already doing something far more interesting. You're forcing them to reflect on themselves. Your value is not determined by how many conversations you can join, but by how many you can command with your simple presence. The moment they stop talking is your cue. That is your moment. That silence is a rare and precious gift, a moment where the world stops spinning and holds its breath for you. The world has already given you their verdict. You are an enigma. Remember, most social interaction is a fragile ecosystem of unspoken rules and carefully choreographed gestures. They are all playing a part, doing their best to fit into a role they think they're supposed to play. They exchange pleasantries like currency, and their conversations are elaborate dances of deflection and polite avoidance. You, by simply being, are an unwelcome variable. You disrupt the entire choreography. They stop talking because you've caught them off guard. They were in the middle of a delicate social ritual, and you, without even trying, have shattered the illusion. That gasp of silence is the sound of 1,000 people collectively realizing that their masks don't work on you. The most profound power isn't loud. It isn't a boast or a threat. It is the kind of quiet that commands attention without demanding it. When they all stop talking, it's not because you have a reputation, but because you possess a presence. This is the distinction. A reputation is something you build with words and actions, a fragile structure that can be dismantled with a single whisper. A presence is an intrinsic part of who you are, a raw force that exists independent of opinion. They don't know why you make them nervous, but they know they are nervous. And that's all that matters. You are an unsolvable riddle, and they just went mute in a desperate attempt to solve you. Most of them, you see, they are walking monuments to their own emptiness. They wander the world like half-finished statues, desperately searching for a chisel in someone else's hands to complete their form. They call it love, this pathetic scavenging for a missing piece, this desperate hunt for another human to fill the void that they lack the courage to fill themselves. They speak of finding their other half, as if they were born defective, as if a person's life purpose is to remain incomplete until a lucky encounter rescues them from their own solitude. You look at them, and you witness a tragic comedy of desperation, a parade of needy souls clinging to one another out of a shared terror of being alone. This, you must understand, is the pathetic delusion of the masses, a weakness that you must never, ever mistake for strength. They believe in the fairy tale of two broken souls mending each other. They trade their insecurities for a fragile sense of security, their loneliness for a temporary truce. Their relationships are built on a foundation of mutual need, a precarious structure that will crumble with the slightest tremor. They say, "We complete each other." A phrase that, to a mind like yours, sounds less like a declaration of love and more like a confession of their own inadequacy. They are not partners, they are crutches for one another, hobbling through life on a support system that, given enough time, will inevitably fail. They cannot stand on their own 2 feet, so they hold each other up, a fragile pact of mutual surrender. They call it romance, this desperate act of giving a stranger the power to complete them. But you are a finished work. You are a masterpiece, not a project. Your mind, your ambition, your chaos, your solitude, they have all sculpted you into a perfect self, contained whole. You did not wander the world seeking a missing piece. You set out to build your own glorious monument. You have spent your time in the beautiful darkness of your own company, forging an empire from your very soul, and it is a fortress that does not need another's help to stand. You are not half of anything. You are the whole thing, a force of nature, a singular will, a being so complete in your own existence that the idea of needing someone else to validate you is not just foreign, but an insult to the sheer force of your being. This is the first rule of power. You must first own yourself. So when you choose a partner, it is not an act of desperation. It is an act of sovereign power. You are not filling a void, you are extending an invitation. You are not seeking a crutch, you are seeking an ally, a worthy partner with whom you might share the magnificent kingdom you have already built. The purpose of your relationship is not to fill an empty space, but to create a shared space where your own completeness can shine, where your triumphs can be celebrated by another who is equally capable and equally whole. It is a union of two empires, not two beggar nations. It is a declaration that you do not need them, but you want them, a choice far more meaningful than a desperate plea. Their fragile alliances are built on the lie that two weaknesses can create a strength. They lean on each other, constantly whispering reassurances and codependent lies, afraid that if one should falter, the entire structure will collapse. They are not two individuals walking a path together. They are two people chained to each other, terrified of the distance that would reveal their own incapacities. Their conversations are filled with promises to never leave, to never change, to be the one who will always be there, all out of a shared fear of the truth. They are not brave enough to face the world on their own, so they hide in the comfortable illusion of us, a shield against the reality of their own isolation. In your world, there is no need for such fragile promises. Your connections are forged in the fires of mutual admiration and shared power. You and your partner are two suns, not a sun and a moon, each with your own brilliant light, choosing to orbit one another in a glorious display of cosmic purpose. You are not bound by fear, you are bound by choice. You do not need them for your existence, and they do not need you for theirs. This mutual freedom creates a bond that is unbreakable because it is not based on clinging, but on the unshakable foundation of two independent forces choosing to align. This is not a relationship of need, it is a partnership of two complete entities, an alliance built on respect, not desperation. The freedom that comes from being whole is a power they can never comprehend. You are liberated from the crippling fear of being abandoned, because you know you will always have yourself. Your happiness is not a hostage in the hands of another person, and this makes you dangerous. You are not dependent on their moods, their loyalty, or their presence to feel complete. You are a self-sustaining fortress. This liberation is a power they will never understand, as they are perpetually tethered to their partners by a leash of dependency. Their relationships are a prison of two, a place where they have willingly surrendered their freedom for the illusion of safety. Do not ever, under any circumstances, allow another person to become the sole source of your validation or happiness. They will always, without fail, disappoint you. They will change, they will falter, they will leave. And if you have given them the keys to your completeness, you will find yourself in ruins. Build your own fortress first. Your self-worth is the only wall you can truly trust. Your passions, your ambitions, your victories. These are the stones with which you build your empire. Others are simply temporary guests in the castle you constructed for yourself. They are welcome to stay, to share in your glory, but they must never, ever be mistaken for the foundation itself. A relationship built on the sharing of completeness is a constant test of power and respect. You are not two halves of a whole. You are two whole entities, choosing to face the world side by side. This demands an immense level of respect for each other's individuality. Your partner will not try to change you. They will celebrate the unique, terrible, and beautiful thing that you are. They will not ask you to compromise your essence, because they recognize that your wholeness is what attracted them in the first place. You are two sovereign states in a powerful alliance, not a single nation with a divided identity. This is the only way a partnership can truly last in this cold, chaotic world. They are also predictable, you see. They emerge from the wreckage of a failed love affair, their hearts shattered, and they do not pause. They do not rebuild. They immediately begin the frantic search for a new victim, a fresh face to pour their unresolved sorrows into. They believe a new body will be a new beginning, a distraction from the scars they refuse to acknowledge. They are running from a past they are too weak to confront. They see a new partner not as a person, but as an escape hatch, a temporary refuge from the ghosts that haunt them. This, you must understand, is a fool's game. It is a desperate act of cowardice, a pathetic attempt to outrun a past that is already running inside of them. A debt must be paid one way or another. Their new relationships are not a clean slate. They are a haunted house. The echoes of old arguments whisper from the shadows. A former lover's voice lingers in the air. And every moment of intimacy is a replay of a past betrayal. They cannot see the new person in front of them because their vision is clouded by the ghosts behind them. They will punish their new partner for the sins of the old one. They will see threats where none exist and push away the very people who might have offered them genuine connection. Their relationships are not new beginnings. They are just new stages for the same old tragedies, new actors playing roles they've already forced upon them, all because they lack the courage to deal with the damage alone. But you understand that a fortress must be rebuilt after it has been breached. You know that a broken weapon is useless on the battlefield. Your heart, once a magnificent kingdom, may have fallen, but you do not simply abandon the rubble and move to new land. You begin the hard work of reclamation. You sift through the wreckage. You analyze the weaknesses that led to the breach. You do not forgive or forget, you learn. Your past is not a ghost to be outrun. It is a textbook to be studied, a map of the enemy's tactics. You must first become whole again, not for the benefit of another, but for your own power. You must fortify yourself piece by piece until your heart is a formidable citadel once more. You must not allow your heart to be a liability. The wounds from a past life are not badges of honor. They are vulnerabilities. They are cracks in your armor. They are weaknesses that a new partner could exploit, either intentionally or by accident. You cannot enter a new alliance carrying that kind of fragility. A new partner is a prize to be sought, a tool for a grander scheme, not a therapist or a distraction. Those who rush from one lover to the next are merely broadcasting their own emotional instability to the world, a glaring signal that they are weak and desperate. You must be a predator who hunts only when he is fully restored, a force of nature that has taken the necessary time to regroup and rebuild. The act of healing is not a passive process. It is an active, brutal, and necessary work. It is the dissection of your own pain. You must go back into the wreckage of your past and meticulously sort through every broken promise, every cruel word, every moment of betrayal. You are a forensic analyst of your own suffering. You are not forgiving or forgetting. You are gathering intelligence. You are learning the patterns of your own weakness, the tells of a flawed strategy. This is not about letting go. It is about taking control. It is about transforming the lessons of your pain into armor. You must turn your scars into sources of strength, not reminders of a victim you used to be. The fools rush in, blind to their own wounds, and they poison everything they touch. Their unhealed wounds fester and seep into their new connections, turning potential happiness into a slow, agonizing rot. They expect a new partner to bear the weight of their unresolved history. They are not giving a new person a chance. They are forcing them to participate in a play they've already written, in which they are destined to fail. They believe that a new partner will fix them, a cruel and selfish fantasy that ends in the ruination of two lives instead of one. They are so consumed by their own past that they fail to see the new person in front of them, using them as little more than a shield against their own demons. This is a lesson in power. Do not let your loneliness make you desperate. Desperation is a weakness, a glaring sign that you are not capable of standing on your own. It makes you reckless. You will make poor choices and settle for less than you deserve, all because you are afraid of your own solitude. You must learn to be comfortable in your own company, to find your own wholeness, before you ever consider sharing it with another. A relationship entered out of strength is a fortress. It is a bastion of two formidable individuals. A relationship entered out of need is a cell, a prison of two who have willingly locked themselves in out of fear of the outside world. A truly healed person is a powerful person. You enter a new relationship not with the baggage of a victim, but with the wisdom of a survivor. You are not afraid of history repeating itself, because you are prepared to rewrite the ending this time. You are not desperate for a hero to save you. You are already the hero of your own story. You have already done the hard work of saving yourself. And that liberation is a power that most people can only dream of possessing. The ghosts of the past no longer haunt you. They serve as lessons, as reminders of the strength it took to defeat them. This is the difference between an endless cycle of suffering and a future of unwavering command. Contrast your approach with theirs one final time. They are forever seeking someone to rescue them from the wreckage of their past. They are forever looking for a savior, a crutch, an escape. You, on the other hand, are the one who has already done the hard, dirty work of saving yourself. Your past is not a haunting ghost. It is a well-learned lesson, a map of where not to go. This profound difference in strength is the difference between a life of repeated suffering and a life of continued power. They are victims of their history. You are the master of yours. They walk into relationships with a checklist you see, a list of all the things they believe they are missing, and they believe another person exists to fill those vacant spaces. They don't look at their partner as a complete being with their own flaws and perfections. No, they see a series of boxes to be ticked. You are missing a sense of adventure, a better sense of humor, more emotional availability. It's a pathetic form of accounting where they are constantly tallying a ledger of a person's perceived deficiencies. They are not falling in love with a person. They are falling in love with a fantasy of what that person could be, if only they were different. This is a fundamental flaw in their design. They are so busy searching for what is not there that they are blind to the magnificent chaos that is. Their dissatisfaction is not with their partner, but with the world itself. They are not truly looking at the person in front of them. They are looking at a mirage, a projection of their own desperate desires. The moment that person fails to fill a specific void, to be the perfect missing piece, they become a source of resentment. The relationship becomes a bitter competition, a silent, ongoing complaint about what the other person isn't. They whisper to their friends and to themselves, if only they were more like X or less like Y. A constant, destructive fantasy of an improved partner. They are building a prison for their lover out of their own unmet expectations, a cage of all the things they wish that person would be. But you see a different game. You do not walk into an alliance with a checklist. You walk in with a mirror. You know that if something is missing in your life, it is because you have not had the courage to go out and get it yourself. Your partner is not a utility, a tool to fix your own inadequacies. They are a peer, an ally, a fellow force of nature with their own arsenal of strengths and weaknesses. You do not demand they be something they are not. You learn to appreciate the glorious, flawed, unpredictable sum of all their parts. The relationship is not a negotiation of what they lack, but a grand appreciation of what they are. The moment you find yourself judging your partner for a perceived lack, you must turn that judgment inward. The question is not, why are they not more adventurous? The question is, why am I waiting for them to provide the adventure I should be creating for myself? The problem is not with their quietness. The problem is with your own inability to be comfortable in silence. Their deficiencies are just a reflection of your own needs, your own voids, which you are attempting to externalize. A villain knows his own weaknesses, and he does not project them onto others. He fixes them himself. This is the difference between a fool who blames and a mastermind who takes action. They see their partners not as people, but as extensions of themselves, objects to be molded and shaped to fit their own incomplete lives. They embark on these relationships with a clear mission, to improve the other person, to round out their sharp edges, to fill in their empty spaces. It is an act of supreme arrogance, a silent declaration that the other person is a project in need of their assistance. They do not accept the person as they are. They accept the potential of what they might become. This is not love. This is a cruel and selfish form of emotional engineering, doomed to fail the moment their partner resists being remade. Your relationship, however, is a negotiation between two equals. You do not seek to change them, and you will not allow yourself to be changed. You are two sovereign states in a powerful alliance, not a single nation with a leader and a project. You do not see their flaws as things to be fixed. You see them as unique quirks, the little cracks in a beautiful statue that tell a story of its creation. You understand that their strengths are a glorious complement to your own, and their weaknesses are their own to conquer or not. You are not a manager of their life. You are a witness and an admirer. Their relationships are a never-ending source of disappointment. Every new failure to meet their unreasonable expectations is a new cause for bitterness. They keep a running tally of grievances, each one a new piece of evidence that the other person is simply not what they had hoped for. This bitterness festers, growing into a poisonous resentment that eventually chokes the life out of the connection.